On day 1, I spawned into the world in the middle of a deep, dark pit as a shadow dog. I guess it makes sense for a baby shadow dog to appear in darkness, but where exactly am I? Before I could even think about escaping, a mysterious mason appeared on the edge of the pit. He was carrying a firework crossbow.
So you're finally here. We knew an entity of great evil would appear in the overworld in the form of an animal, thanks to a prophecy. But now we have you bound, and there is nothing you can do to escape. One wrong move, and I'll vanquish you with this firework crossbow, demon dog.
I'm not a demon dog. I'm a shadow dog. There's been some kind of mistake.
Prophecies don't make mistakes. You will be bound here forever.
I tried to turn and run into an adjoining tunnel, making my way further into the darkness. I've got 6 hearts. I need to be careful out here. But my escape was scuppered when I saw that some masons with more firework crossbows were already waiting in the tunnels.
Stop right there, demon dog.
Uh-oh, looks like I may be in this one for the long haul. On day 2, the masons captured me and brought me to the edge of a steep quarry inside of their base. It was so deep that I couldn't even see the bottom.
You're gonna go in there until we figure out what to do with you. Now go down that staircase.
I don't want to do that. I want to go free.
You'll have a chance to plead your case once we consult the ancient Mason manuals. Until then, you're in the pit, demon dog.
I was caught between a rock quarry and a firework crossbow. I chose to listen to the mason and went down the ladders to the bottom of the pit. The masons broke the ladders behind me so I couldn't climb out. And there, I waited for them to return and decide my fate, and waited and waited. This sure is taking a while. I am one bored puppy. I decided to look around the pit, admiring how skilled the stonework was. These masons really know how to mine. Then suddenly, one of the stones started moving around, but it wasn't a regular stone. It was a stoneling.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm Sylvester, the stoneling. The masons accidentally brought me to life when they chipped me out of the stone. But enough about me. What's your name?
I'm Zozo, a baby shadow dog. I was born in darkness, molded by it. And right now, I'm trying to get free of this pit.
Hey, that's great. I know a way to help you out. There's a secret passage that only I know about because I'm made of stone, you see.
I followed Sylvester through the stone passage until we reached another pit. But this one was just on the edge of the mason's base. Oh, if only I could climb these walls, I'd be free.
That's all? Forget about it. You can climb those walls easy peasy.
How do you know that?
Because I'm made of stone. Now show me you can go the distance, Zozo.
Feeling inspired by Sylvester's words, I soon found that he was right, and I was able to climb the walls to freedom. Thank you, Sylvester. You're a real good guy.
Anytime, Zozo. And just remember, I'm made of stone.
On day 3, I ran freely through the Red Rock Highlands as a lone shadow dog on the run. So far, my life has been pretty rough. Get it? Rough? I'm a dog. My hunger meter was looking rough as well, so I searched for food to quiet my growling stomach. I soon found a tree and hoped I wasn't barking up the wrong one. I was in luck, as this was an apple tree. I found one that had already fallen and gobbled it up to restore my meter. Phew, that was close. Now, back to freedom. I was heading somewhere new when I saw a reindeer standing in my path. There was something unusual about it, but I didn't really know what. We stared at each other for a few moments. Then the reindeer spoke.
Spawn of shadows, you have found your way to the overworld from the darkness below. It is wonderful that we should meet on this day.
I'll say, you're the first new friend I've met since I escaped those lousy masons. They wanted to keep me trapped because of some old tradition.
I too have had struggles with those masons in the past. They build walls and create structures and rules to bind us. We are both beings that can exist beyond what they can control.
I agree completely. Do you know know how I can escape them for good?
Follow me to the Black Forest. All will be revealed there.
I nodded, and the reindeer guided me out the Rock Highlands. From day 4 to day 5, I walked through the shadowy underbrush of the Black Forest, a place that felt strangely like home. The reindeer brought me to a grove at the heart of the forest. There, in the clearing, stood a great temple made of enchanted metal and stone.
This is my home. It is a place of light and tranquility where I often rest. Who will find it calming, as shadows are strongest when a bright light is near?
Whoa, I want to build a base this amazing for myself.
You'll have your chance, Zozo, but for now, you are my guest.
The reindeer led me inside the temple, which was even cooler and more epic on the inside. Thanks for taking me here. Now, what was it that you wanted to talk to me about?
You wanted to know how you could be rid of the Masons, correct?
Oh yeah, that's right. How can I do that?
The Masons are an ancient order, and their roots run deep throughout the overworld. Through their expertise at both mining and crafting, they have become the masters of the land and the stone caves below. Not everything is in their control. Primal energy, such as the shadow within you, threatens them because it cannot be used to build new buildings. You must build a temple to protect yourself from them, as they will never tear down a structure made of stone. It's against their rule.
Build a home, be safe. Got it.
You'll catch on quick, but you'll need these.
The reindeer gave me a stone pickaxe that would let me dig for building materials.
Also, do not forget that you are capable of more than the Masons will tell you. You are a shadow, and under the right light, a shadow can be anything.
That's for the words of wisdom, my reindeer friend. I'll build a temple home in no time. After I left the reindeer's home, I found a spot in the lush bamboo jungle where it seemed like the right place to build. I dug some holes and started mining stone with my pickaxe. Not too long after I started, a mason showed up.
Hey, who is digging in these holes?
Thinking fast, I remembered what reindeer said and focused on becoming whatever I needed to be. I shapeshifted into a mason, surprising even myself. Just me, digging holes for mason stuff.
Oh, sorry to bother you. Dig away. I'll be back at our base if you need help.
The mason left, and I changed back to my shadow dog form. I really am more than I thought I was. That realization made me level up, head out of my puppy phase, and increased my health to a total of 10 hearts. From day 6 to day 8, I was taking a break from building my new base when I heard a strange noise in the distance. Whoa, I wonder what's up with that. I decided to go for a walk and check out the source. When I arrived at the spot, I saw the ground was destroyed, and there was an entrance to a cave down below. Good old friend, Sylvester the Stoneling, was standing in the cave entrance.
Hey, Zozo, be careful. It's not safe up there on the overworld. It's dangerous.
Is that why you're down there in the cave?
Yeah, I'm taking cover. You should too.
Thanks, but no thanks. I'm strong and capable of anything.
You're pretty great. Nobody can do everything alone. I should know. I'm made of stone.
He disappeared back underground, hiding himself away. Later on, I went back to visit the reindeer of the Black Forest and told him about what happened with the strange noise. It was like zoom, boom, you know?
It seems that you have encountered another form of limitless energy in the world. You should count yourself lucky if you were able to observe its greatness.
I wish I could have gotten a closer look.
You may have another opportunity. There is a place called the Twilight Valley where the powers of shadow and light intermingle. More knowledge lies there than the Masons would ever admit. I recommend you see it for yourself.
I just might take you up on that. From day 9 to day 10, I followed a mystical path of intuition until I came upon the Twilight Valley. It was clearly a place of incredible power. I could feel it in my doggy fur. This is where my powers of shadow come from? I had better see if I can master some new abilities here. Just then, I was charged by a giant moose and lost a bunch of hearts. Hey, no fair sneak attacking like that. I'm supposed to be the stealthy one.
I am the guardian of this valley, and I say that there are powers here that no creature should command.
Oh yeah? Well, you're a creature too. How come you get to decide?
Enough chit-chat. I will do my duty as guardian and bulldoze you.
The moose was a tough opponent, and I had never been in a direct fight before. My attacks were bouncing off of him like nothing. That's when I saw a flash of light destroy the ground. A huge hole had opened up that was almost 100 blocks deep. Suddenly, I knew what I had to do. I ran to the edge of the pit, letting the moose chase me, and dangled over the edge with my climb wall ability. Just as I planned, the moose charged too far and flew over the side of the cliff into the pit. The fall damage finished him off in one hit. Yeah, I won. But boy, am I hurting. I heard a familiar voice from down below. It was Sylvester the Stoneling.
Zozo, you look like you could use a healing potion. I got one of those.
I climbed to the bottom and drank up the healing potion that Sylvester offered. Thanks, Sylvester. You're pretty reliable.
That's because I'm made of stone. Didn't I tell you to beware of the light, though?
You did. What exactly did you mean by that?
I meant that the light is dangerous, especially for shadows like you. Under the right light, a shadow can be made into anything.
Huh, that's not how I heard the saying before.
And you didn't hear it from me.
Sylvester ran back into the safety of his cave. He definitely seemed scared of something. I didn't feel like chasing after him. That reindeer knew more about energy than anyone else I knew, so maybe I could find the truth by asking him. From day 11 to day 12, I searched the Black Forest until I found the reindeer's temple and went inside. The reindeer was standing by a large window, seemingly lost in thought.
Zozo, I didn't expect to see you back here so soon. Did you gather the power of the Twilight Valley?
No, I didn't know how, and I was attacked by a guardian moose before I could figure anything out.
Did you defeat the guardian?
Yeah, I managed somehow.
That is acceptable. You'll have it easier next time. Now please, leave for now. I'm not in the mood for company.
I could tell that I was bothering my reindeer friend, not wanting to be rude. I left and went mining for more building material for my base. In a cave deep beneath the ground, I managed to come across some iron ore. I quickly built a furnace and smelted the ore into ingots. All right, now I can upgrade my tools. The first thing I did was make an iron pickaxe to replace my stone one. Then I made an iron sword and iron helmet to protect myself in a fight. It was good thinking because a fight is exactly what I walked into the moment I left the cave.
Demon Dog, what are you doing to our mines?
No use explaining. You guys don't listen. I drew my sword and clashed with the Masons, defeating them until none were left in the group. I know there are more Masons in their base. I better head to Twilight Valley and master the powers of shadow before they send a bigger group of guys. From day 13 to day 15, I returned to the Twilight Valley, which was now without its guardian. This time, nothing would stop me from achieving my true potential. I am here to become one with the shadows. But I still didn't know how. My reindeer friend hadn't been very helpful the last time. Maybe I'll just stare at the sky for a while? And so I did, until a wild raccoon sat down beside me. It turned and looked at me with wise eyes before saying,
"You are a warrior of shadow. I thought I was the last one."
"Well, it looks like you're not, 'cause I'm here. Is there anything you can teach me about my shadow powers? I'm trying to be free of the Masons."
The Masons? Are you not aware of your true enemy?
True enemy?
Mark my words, Shadow Dog. The Masons may try to make rules to order you around, but you must be even more suspicious of creatures of light. Where they are, a shadow can have no freedom.
Light? As in that destructive light from above?
It walks among you as well. That is all I can say. We may never meet again.
The raccoon vanished into the shadows. Light that walks among me? What did he mean? Still, this was closer to understanding the mysteries of the shadows than before. I decided to leave the Twilight Valley and go see reindeer. From day 16 to day 19, I visited the reindeer's temple in the Black Forest, once again unannounced. Reindeer, you've got some splaining to do. The reindeer rose from the floor dramatically.
What did I tell you about coming here without my permission, Zozo?
That can wait. I was told to beware of a dangerous light that seeks to control shadows. You need to tell me what it is, because I think I might be in danger.
You are mistaken. There is no danger as long as you cooperate with me. Now be gone.
Once again, I was cast out of the temple without answers. I returned back to my base, which at this point was just about finished. It's good to know that I'll be safe from the mason. Just then, Sylvester the Stoneling also rose from the ground, dramatically. Sylvester, what are you doing here?
Just had to be a big shot, didn't ya? Without its guardian, the Twilight Valley is completely unprotected.
Huh? Unprotected? From what?
The light, Zozo! The light! I'm made of stone!
I heeded Sylvester's words and made a mad dash for the Twilight Valley. I arrived to find destruction and carnage. Standing in the middle of it all was my reindeer friend. Hey, what is this? What's going on?
You still haven't realized? Well, then let me spell it out for you. Just as you are a shadow dog, I am a light reindeer.
A light reindeer? You're the light that walks among us?
I was, but now I am something greater. You will address me as the light, and you will obey.
So this who time you... Before I could finish my sentence, the reindeer, no, the light blasted me with a laser. I didn't see how many hearts I lost. I didn't see anything at all. I fell unconscious. From day 20 to day 22, my eyes opened and I found myself at the bottom of an enormous crater that used to be the Twilight Valley. Flashes of what had happened swirled in my head. My reindeer friend, no, my enemy, the light, decimated the valley and absorbed its mysteries. I started walking, searching for anything or anyone that may have survived the light. Hello? Hello? I spotted a cave, and that's where Sylvester the Stoneling was standing. I was happy to see him.
You must be made of stone too if you survived that. Well, you're not. Only I'm made of stone. Still, it's good to see ya.
Sylvester, where did the light go after he attacked me?
I don't know. It's not safe out here in the open. Do you have a base we could go to?
Yes, and I never told the light where it was. For now, it should keep us both behind sturdy walls. We both went back to the bamboo forest, and I built a cavern basement for Sylvester to live in. Stonelings prefer to live around stone, after all. All this thinking of building made me remember the Masons. I wondered how their organization was reacting to the light being on the loose. Guess I'm making a trip back to the Red Rock Highlands. From day 23 to day 26, I traveled the Red Rock Wastelands. It had been a long time, so I wasn't sure where the Masons' base was anymore. Still, I was determined to find it, and nothing will distract me. Except, it turned out, a cry for help from a fellow canine in need, who was being attacked by another fellow canine who needed to be stopped. Running from the snapping jaws of a foxhound, the striped hyena cried out,
Help! Shadow Dog! Save me!
Never fear, Shadow Dog is here! I drew my iron sword and attacked the foxhound from behind. It was startled by the sneak attack, and I was able to get in a few more hits. Go on, I can handle this. The striped hyena ran away. It was just me and the foxhound fighting now, and I was starting to think I couldn't actually handle it. My number of hearts was dropping fast. No, I can't give up. Gotta keep fighting! I am Shadow Dog! I awakened an inner source of strength and began to cut the foxhound down to size. My sword strikes were fast and powerful, but as I struck the last blow, my sword broke. The foxhound was vanquished, but I had lost my weapon. Or had I? The experience from the battle leveled me up again and gave me a claw attack that would now be my main form of damage dealing. I had 24 hearts too, more than making up for what I had lost in the fight. From day 27 to day 31, I was still on my quest to find the Mason's base, but I made a slight detour when I discovered a burrow full of rabbits. Realizing that these rabbits would be a great source of food, I asked Sylvester the Stoneling to help me dig a tunnel that would lead the rabbits back to base. Soon, we had a rabbit habitat in the bamboo forest. Now I'd have sustainable dog food for the rest of my days. Couldn't have done it without you, Sylvester.
That's not all, Zozo. I also built a storage room for everything that isn't rabbits.
Sylvester had indeed expanded the base with his stonecraft. Maybe he was even as good a builder as the mason who had accidentally created him. Meanwhile, in the Black Forest, the Light was plotting his next move inside of his temple. I could only guess at what the mysteries of the Twilight Valley had revealed to him before he destroyed it. He had also summoned a new minion, a mystical dragon, a forbidden power known as the Naga.
I would like you to bring Zozo the Shadow Dog to me. It seems that he was more resilient to my influence than I expected.
It is a great honor to serve under the Avatar of Light. You will not be disappointed.
From day 32 to day 35, I decided that if I wanted to have any kind of hope for defeating the Light Reindeer, I'd need intel and I'd need reinforcements. They may have kidnapped me before, but there's no denying that the Masons have at least some idea of what's going on here. I walked up to their fortress in the formidable Red Rock Highlands and waited. Soon enough, a Mason with a firework crossbow came out to greet me.
So, the monster has returned. Take a step closer, and I'll dispel your shadows with a blast of a firework.
Please, I come in peace. As a shadow dog, don't you think I would have just snuck in? I know about the Light Reindeer now. He was your prophesied monster, and I want to help you defeat him.
How do I know you're not trying to deceive me?
Leave us to our reason, or else destroy us both.
That convinces me somehow. Please follow me into the Hall of Masonic Secrets. You will meet the being that gave us our sacred prophecies.
I followed him inside and went down a corridor into a mysterious room. There, a jackal was waiting for me. I could tell he was powerful and wise.
Welcome, Zozo. I felt your power as soon as you entered the overworld, but I'm glad that you're choosing to use this power for good.
So, you're the commander of the Masons?
I don't think of myself as a commander. I'm more of a guide, and with my guidance, you will defeat the Light Reindeer.
Then let's get started. From day 36 to day 39, I continued my adventure, descending into a mining cave with my iron pickaxe in hand. I need to gather my resources and steel myself, or the forces of light are going to burn me out of this world. Down in the mine, I hacked through the earth until I could get my hands on some iron and diamonds. Ooh yeah, this'll do nicely. I went back to my base in the bamboo jungle and got to forging until I had a few more pieces of iron armor. I'll hide this inside my shadow shrouds, and it'll keep me defended from deadly Light Reindeer attacks. Afterwards, my good friend Sylvester the Stoneling approached with a gift.
Hey, Zozo! I can see you going through it at the moment, and I sympathize. Just 'cause I rock doesn't mean I'm made of stone, though I am made of stone. I brought you a cool sword, a netherite slash sword to be specific.
OMG, Sylvester, this is amazing! Also, I feel bad for not asking. What's your full name?
Lestone, Sylvester Lestone.
I went out to chop some bamboo with my awesome new sword when a gold golem emerged from the shoots.
Psst, psst. Go see the sacred jackal! You'll never see me again after the scene.
Thank you, mysterious golem. From day 40 to day 43, I returned to the base of the Masons and the sacred jackal. The jackal himself was waiting for me.
Zozo, thank goodness you came. I was worried that the Naga had gotten to you first.
The Naga? That doesn't sound good.
Your ears don't deceive you. It isn't good. The Naga is a nightmarish reptilian beast that has devoured many creatures that I'm sad to say were far stronger than you.
Well, how will I beat it? That's the only thing that truly matters, right?
You're a shadow dog, Zozo, so why aren't you thinking like one? You're not meant to fight head-on. You're meant to use stealth and subterfuge. The darkness is your friend. Think on these things, Zozo.
That certainly seemed very deep and interesting, but it didn't help me. I turned and left the base, trying to think of what practical advice I can take. What can I do? That's when I saw something huge and horrifying. A great beast flying out of the crags. The Naga! It hadn't spotted me yet, but I didn't have much time. Thinking quickly, I shapeshifted into the light reindeer and did everything I could to keep up the form. The Naga saw me and flew down.
Master, I'm surprised to see you are here. I was coming here to find and devour that shadow dog.
Actually, Naga, I changed my mind on that. You can leave the shadow dog alone. He's a very nice guy. The Naga started to laugh. What's so funny?
Master, you told me if I saw you outside, and you told me that, not to listen to you, and instead just devour the shadow dog no matter what.
Oh, crud. I needed to think fast. Yes. Very good, Naga. I was just testing you. Now I must be going. Happy hunting. I moved away as quickly as I could, feeling lucky that I made it out alive thanks to my stealth and my smarts. And next time, I might not be so lucky. From day 44 to day 49, I was relaxing at my base, feeling relieved at my narrow escape from the Naga. I can tell that Naga is powerful and dangerous, even if he isn't the brightest bulb in the box. How can I stop that thing and then take out the light reindeer? As though he heard my words, the sacred jackal entered once again.
Hello there, Zozo. It's good to see that you're still alive. I heard about your close encounter with the Naga. Clever boy. Now you're thinking like a true shadow dog.
It saved my skin once. I'm not counting on that working twice. How can I actually defeat these entities, Jackal?
I've been paying some thought to this. In the Masonic scriptures, there was once a legendary sword, the Ravager sword, that is so powerful it could erase even concepts.
Oh my gosh, that's insane! I could definitely defeat the light reindeer with that. Where can I find it?
Good question. Go to the Twilight Valley, or whatever is left of it, and seek out the counsel of Marty Mungus. He may know more than I.
From day 50 to day 53, I traveled back to the ruined remains of the Twilight Valley, which still felt like it was haunted by the ghosts of bad memories. A light reindeer really messed this place up. If I don't stop him, he could do this everywhere. But the sober seriousness of the situation was interrupted by the creature I came here to see, the bizarre little beast known as Marty Mungus.
Wee-hee-hee! I will give my knowledge to thee, if thou can answer my queries 3.
Why do you talk like that?
Query 1! If a rooster lays an egg while standing on top of a barn roof and the wind is blowing east, which side of the barn roof will the egg roll down?
The east side, right?
Wrong! It was a trick question. Roosters don't lay eggs. Query 2!
I'm good. You can keep your queries to yourself, Mr. Mungus. I'd rather have another fight with the light reindeer than listen to those other 2 queries. From day 54 to day 57, having had a frustrating conversation with Marty Mungus, I decided to return to the Red Rock Highlands and seek more advice from the Jackal. I'll take his brand of wisdom over the weird, opaque style of Marty Mungus any day. But I wouldn't reach the Mason base that day. Instead, the Naga leaped out in front of me, looking huge and terrifying.
You're a bad dog, Zozo. You thought you could trick me last time? You won't be able to get one over on me with that silly disguise trick. The Avatar of Light has given me clarity of vision.
With my netherite slash sword, I'm gonna mess your vision right up. But my words were writing checks that my sword couldn't cash. The Naga's power far exceeded mine, and he dominated defeated me in the fight. All I could do was run away. Back at the Light Reindeer's temple in the Black Forest, he was watching it all through his psychic visions.
Shadows. So weak, so insubstantial. Only under my control will the true potential of your power be unlocked.
From day 58 to day 62, I was feeling weak after having to run away from Naga. When you feel weak, you need to do something strong. I'm gonna turn my furnace into a super furnace so I can forge the most awesome weapons and armor anyone has ever seen. I worked and worked and worked until I'd created a furnace the likes of which people had never seen before. I'm gonna call this Ultra Shadow Furnace. It was so awesome that my buddy Sylvester immediately came over to grab an eyeful.
This looks incredible, Zozo. It rocks, just like me, cause I'm made of stone. I say we christen this baby with a new build.
Oh yeah, what do you have in mind?
I was hoping you had some ideas. I've got these diamonds. Maybe they can be useful.
Those diamonds were exactly what I needed. When fused with the diamonds I'd collected earlier, I was able to build a diamond sword and some boots. This is a useful thing to have in my inventory, even if the netherite slash sword is still my favorite. From day 63 to day 66, the jackal once again arrived at my base with a certain glint in his eye.
Zozo, my masons have been hard at work, and we believe we have created the means to find the ravager sword you need.
That's amazing, Jackal. Let's go. He led me out deep into the cherry blossom forest, into a clearing where a strange stone structure was waiting. Whoa, what is this?
It's an end portal. We believe that the ravager's sword was left in the shattered desert, so you'll need to get it there.
Wish me luck then. I jumped into the portal, but nothing happened. I was just standing among stone in the bamboo jungle.
I see the issue here. You'll need to obtain some Ice of Ender to activate it. Find that, and we can get that ravager's sword found.
It sounds so simple when you put it like that. From day 67 to day 70, my hunt was interrupted when a mason ran over to me, looking like he was in desperate need of assistance.
Shadow Dog, we require assistance. A monstrous beast is attacking our forces not far from here. We need all the assistance we can get.
That sounds terrifying. I'll do everything I can to help. I ran in and saw, to my shock, the so-called monster was actually a surprisingly tiny lily tad. Wow, is that it? She's teeny tiny.
You wish you hadn't said that.
That's when I learned why the Masons had feared the lily tad so much. She wiped the floor with me using her sheer fighting skill. In the end, the only way to defeat her was being humble. I'm sorry for my disrespectful words, Lily Tad. You are a superlative fighter. And as a show of my respect, take this diamond sword from my own forge.
This tribute is acceptable. You're not as foolish as you look, dog.
I returned to my base after that, feeling good about making an ally from what could have been an enemy. From day 71 to day 74, I woke up to the most awful sounds outside my base. I looked up and saw that the Naga was attacking, rampaging and destroying everything he touched. Oh no, I need to stop that thing. I got up out of bed and ran into battle with my sword and claws at the ready. There was no point in shapeshifting now. I needed to take him by force.
Hello, little shadow. I'm going to show you the power of a true form.
I'm going to show you how strong I am by overshadowing you, Naga! Once again, my talk was stronger than my skills. Naga handed me my butt in a brutal battle that left me barely alive, and then he left, laughing. Oh, that was so painful and humiliating. At least my friend Sylvester will be here to comfort me. Sylvester? Sylvester? It was then that I realized, with horror, that Sylvester Lestone must have been kidnapped by Naga. I need to get it back! Back at the Light Reindeer Temple in the Black Forest, his evil plans were brewing.
The lure is now in place. He will come to me, and when he does, he will belong to me. Mind, body and soul.
From day 75 to day 78, one of the Masons from the Red Rock Valley Temple arrived at my base.
Zozo the Shadow Dog, I have come to meet with you.
Oh, what's on your mind, Mason?
I realized we did not start off on the best of terms, Zozo, but you have since done much for the Mason cause, even at risk to yourself. Please, take this Mason firework crossbow. You've earned it. You're one of us.
He gave me a firework crossbow, and I added it to my inventory. Thank you, Mason. I'll wield it with honor.
I know you will. Use it to save your friend. Use stealth and secrecy. The Naga lurks in the Black Forest near the Light Reindeer's temple.
Those monsters' days are numbered. From day 79 to day 84, I'd had all I could stand, and I couldn't stand it no more. I gathered up my food and snuck into the Black Forest using my powerful canine sense of smell to track down that devilish Naga and the familiar smell of my friend, Sylvester Lestone. There's that scaly beast. Time to make like a shadow and sneak up behind him. I saw the Naga waiting for me at the camp, but he didn't expect me to attack from behind. I snuck through the trees using my shadow stealth and aimed my firework crossbow at him. Smile, you son of a boom! I fired the firework crossbow and it exploded against the Naga. Then I pulled out my netherite slash sword and stormed in full of wild fury. Give me back my friend, Naga! During the battle, I was horrified to find that Naga was still so much stronger than me. I thought I was almost destroyed when suddenly an ally ran in to save me. It was Lilytad, wielding my diamond sword. Lilytad attacked the Naga at full force, distracting it. I was so inspired by the act of courage that I felt my power level rising until I upgraded into an Ultra Shadow Dog with a new power, Whirlwind. Move out of the way, Lilytad. Lilytad distracted the Naga, and I unleashed a whirlwind attack, finally destroying the Naga once and for all. That's what happens when you mess with my friends. Speaking of, in that moment, Sylvester Lestone ran out from underneath the fortress. Looks like he managed to escape the light reindeer.
You saved me, Zozo. I may be made of stone, but you're clearly made of pure courage.
Thanks, Sylvester. I'm just happy to have you back. I've missed you while you were in that evil monster's clutches.
Feels good to be back, man. A rolling guy made of stone gathers no moss. Wait, hey, what's that on the ground over there?
The Naga had dropped some Eyes of Ender on the ground when he was defeated. This is perfect. I can use them to activate the portal. The Ravager sword is practically mine. From day 85 to day 89, I brought the Eyes of Ender back to my base, knowing that I was now on the verge of completing the portal to the end. The eyes have it. Wow, there's a saying for every situation. I guess that's why people say them. I added the essential pearls to the portal, turning what was basically just a modern art sculpture into a fully functional portal to the end. The Ravager sword awaits in the shattered desert on the other side of this portal. Wowzers, I'm good at this adventuring thing. I walked through the portal and found myself in the shattered desert. It was shattered and deserted, but like it was put there just for me, the Ravager sword was on a pedestal. I will draw the blade and prove myself worthy of the task ahead. As I moved in to claim my prize, I was interrupted by a Garch that attacked me. I fought back with my claws, and it seemed like we were evenly matched in skill. I had other tricks up my sleeve. I used my shape-shifting to turn into another Garch, causing the mob to hold back for a brief moment. That's when I charged and put all my strength behind a claw attack, taking the Garch down before it could resume fighting. At last, the Ravager sword is mine. Now, I fight the light tonight. Or no, maybe a few days from now. That's least. From day 90 to day 94, my fight against the light reindeer came sooner than I expected, and I was confronted with my mystical enemy on my way back to the end portal.
You have claimed the Ravager sword, and in doing so, have raised the edge of your spirit against me. I hope you realize that this means war.
No, it means peace, because that's what there will be after I take you out with this legendary weapon.
You can Try!
Light Reindeer blasted me with a laser. It was almost a direct hit, but with the sword in my hand, I could avoid the worst of the damage. I raced towards the Light Reindeer to strike him down, but with another laser blast, he split the ground of the end and I fell into a pit. As I tried to climb out, the Light Reindeer sent further laser blasts, which I needed to dodge around. I was soon back on the surface, ready to end this fight, but instead of facing me, the reindeer stood by the portal. Come on, get back over here. I have a ravager sword, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Then I will remind you what fear is. An eternity stranded in the end should do it.
The Light Reindeer stepped backwards through the portal and sent a laser blast down on top of it. The portal was destroyed instantly, and so was my way home. Oh no, how could I ever return? From day 95 to day 97, I was still trapped in the end when the Light Reindeer attacked the Mason's base. Without me and the Ravager blade, Light Reindeer brought a storm of lightning strikes and laser blasts through the fortress. One by one, the Masons were annihilated until only the Jackal remained standing.
Light Reindeer, what have you done?
I have no words for you, Jackal. You served the Masons as a guide when you should have known that I was destined to rule the overworld.
Zozo will stop you. I know he will. He is the shadow, and where there is light, there will always be a shadow. The real reason you fear him is because you cannot destroy him. You just wanted him to think you could, to control him. He is your greatest weakness, and when he figures that out, you're done.
It's too late, Jackal. Zozo is trapped in the end right now. He'll never threaten me again.
We'll see what happens after I grant him guidance. Farewell, old enemy.
With that, the Jackal vanished. He gave up his physical form to become a spirit guide. It was only thanks to him that I was able to find my way through another end portal into the overworld. Thanks, Jackal. You were a true mentor until the end, and even after. Now that I'm back in the overworld, I'll use the Ravager sword to defeat Light Reindeer. On day 98, I returned to my base and found that it had been completely smashed by laser blasts. It was a stone crater, just like the Twilight Valley. Where there is stone, there is hope of finding my friend, Sylvester Stone. I searched for an entrance to a cave until I found the memorable Stoneling. No matter what had happened, he was always safe. The Masons made him, and he was their last creation. I would stop at nothing to protect him. Hey, Sylvester, I'm gonna stop at nothing to protect you.
Hey, that's great! Thanks, Zozo. I'm guessing by that, you mean we're gonna start working together and send the light packing?
But not in a direct battle. He'll see that coming. I've gotta do this the Shadow Dog way. Sneaky and stealthy. We'll end him before he even knows what hit him.
Sounds like a plan, Zozo. You really went the distance on that one. You're the champion.
Together, Sylvester and I started to come up with a plan. On day 99, Sylvester Stone and I had finished plotting our master scheme to get rid of Light Reindeer with the Ravager sword. We knew he would never let us get close enough to him to use the sword, so we gathered all the stone we could and created a decoy base in the Black Forest. We used some spare firework crossbows we got from the Masons to shoot flares into the air and lure the Light Reindeer out of hiding.
Surviving Masons? But how?
It worked. As our enemy went over to investigate the decoy base, I handed off the Ravager sword to Sylvester. With his mastery of stone tunnels, he was able to dig under the temple while I distracted the Light Reindeer in the form of a Mason.
I'll avenge our organization. Light Reindeer, the Masons live on!
Not anymore!
Light Reindeer fired lasers at the decoy base until it was destroyed. I hid myself away, pretending that I was destroyed too. Light Reindeer waited for a bit, then he returned to his temple. By now, Sylvester had tunneled into the temple and left the Ravager sword in a hidden place for me to find. Tomorrow, I would go into the temple and use the magic of the blade to slice through the Light Reindeer once and for all. On day 100, the Light Reindeer was peacefully existing in his temple, thinking that I was still in the end and that all his enemies were destroyed. He didn't even know what was coming when I snuck into the temple and found my Ravager sword. I snuck from hiding place to hiding place until I came upon the reindeer in a moment of vulnerability. With one decisive blow, I struck from the shadows.
Impossible!
The light reindeer was felled by my sword, and now Sylvester and I could live happily ever after.